it that.
Well, there you go, folks. Can you explain it? Barry and I were there, and I still cannot understand where they come from or where they go.
Right. It's a very fascinating little place up there in the Paulding area, and maybe someone out there has some explanations we'd like to hear about it. And you never can tell. Carl and Carol are still wondering themselves. I'd like to thank them both. Carl and Carol Hedges of the Paulding Motel and Restaurant, thank you for showing us the Paulding lights, the mysteriousness of the Upper Peninsula.
It certainly is a mysterious place. Well, at any rate, now we're going to make that trip over to Wakefield, Michigan, where we talk with Eugene Maki and Mr. Randall there at the local bakery. A very delightful trip and a very delightful day. And, well, let's make that trip now to Wakefield, Michigan, where I talk with Eugene Maki of the Historical Society.
Welcome to Wakefield, Michigan, and Michigan Magazine, and the beautiful Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Yay!
Roger Randall from Wakefield, Michigan. Barry and I, we're right here in our favorite place. Barry and I just love food. If it's pastries, if it's pasta, we don't care.
That's right.
But it's nice to be here in Wakefield, Michigan. And we are here at your bakery. And this has been in the family for how long?
50 years.
50 years. And
My folks, they bought, my dad was working, and we came here in Wakefield 1932. My dad worked for other people, and we bought it in 43. And when I was in the service, and now it's 42 years that I've got it.
We know hospitality is great here, but why Wakefield? Why did your family settle in Wakefield?
Well, back in those days, my dad was about the only place there was. It was depression.
Yeah.
And this was a job that,
well, I say one thing, you've got a room full here today, and the reason Barry and I are up here today at Wakefield, Michigan is because of the lady here.
Come on in.
Garland Miller.
Garland, yes.
She wrote us and told us all about this beautiful community and the historical values here in this great Upper Peninsula town.
Yes.
And where is Mrs. Randall?
Anna Marie.
Anna Marie. Okay.
Come on over here.
Anna Marie, she's there. Here comes Anna Marie. And she's going the other way. And we have all kinds of folks here enjoying the food, enjoying the coffee, enjoying the pastries. Barry, what do you?
Yes.
Barry's right in his door. I don't know what to say.
When we first came to town, we asked where's the best pastries, and as a Randall's. So that's where we were first thing this morning. Okay, I should not get here. Let's get you right in the center over there by Dell. And this is Mrs. Randall, right? Okay.
And your first name again?
Anna Marie.
Anna Marie. That is a beautiful name. I've heard that name before someplace. Anna Marie Baghetti, I think.
Yeah, Baghetti.
That's right. But at any rate, we're here in the beautiful town of Wakefield, Michigan. In case you don't know where Wakefield, Michigan is at, it is just about as far west in the Upper Peninsula as you can go, but it is one of the most beautiful places in the Upper Peninsula.
It is. It is.
One of the most hospitable, too.
It is.
Yes,
We
it is.
like to think that we are.
Oh, yes,
We're,
sir.
well, you notice when the signs come in, we're friendly.
You certainly are.
And Barry and I are going to try some of these delicious pastries here in a minute.
Okay.
And not only that, but we are going to visit the historic museum here, just down the road here.
Oh, that's impressive.
And learn some of the great history here in Wakefield, Michigan. Okay, thanks for being
Well,
part of our
thank you. And you have a good day now.
we will.
And enjoy our beautiful city.
Wakefield, Michigan, in our beautiful Upper Peninsula, at one time was a city identified with iron ore like Tulsa, Oklahoma was to oil. Iron ore was a backbone to the community from 1912 until its last shipment in 1961. Then winter sports became big business with the opening of the Indian Head Mountain just west of town. Today it is very tourist-oriented with all its natural beauty and some 40 waterfalls. We stopped at just a few of the falls, the Saxton, the Potawatomi, and the Gorge Falls. Gogebic County certainly has a lot of natural beauty, but let's get back to some of the early history where we talked with Eugene Maki at the museum.
And Eugene Maki is the president of the Wakefield Historical Society. And Gene, it is a pleasure to be here and to visit your beautiful little community here and this home here that Joe has donated to the Wakefield Historical Society. Could you tell us a little bit about this building and what it has housed before, and then a little bit about the artifacts that are here for posterity?
Well, first I'd like to welcome Michigan Magazine to the community.
Well, thank you.
And make it official. This house was presented to us a number of years ago by Joe Ringsmith, and we had talked about it before, and he saw the need here and responded by donating the building to the Historical Society. And it'll be ours as long as we maintain it for this purpose.
Right.
This building was built around the turn of the century, perhaps maybe a little earlier than that. And I think at one time it housed a hospital, and then Dr. Eddy, who was a practicing physician here for many years before the turn of the century and until 1915. And then he sold his business to Doctors Prout and Tressel. And then there were two houses here that were quite similar. One is up at the Indian Head Ski Hill now.
Okay.
And they practiced medicine here. Dr. Tressel was here until the late 50s. Dr. Prout, of course, had passed away earlier. And Dr. Eddy passed away in 1924, and the park across Sunday Lake is named for Dr. Julius Eddy.
All right, now, just going through the building here, through this home, your museum, I see artifacts of all kinds. I mean, you've got documentation, you've got iron ore, you've got minerals, you've got cutters, you've got old desks, you've got quilts. Is this a new thing that you're organizing here now, that is trying to preserve?
Well, the purpose of the Historical Society is to try to preserve our history, and hopefully the young people will learn something of their own heritage. See, Wakefield celebrated centennial in 1984, so we were 100 years old. Now, pretty soon we'll be 110 years old.
Great.
But we've tried to get a little bit of almost every aspect of local history, and you can see we've done a pretty good job so far. And right now it looks like we're running out of space. You know, we just have so much to display, and we can't do it, you know, reasonably well at the same time.
Is this a new thing that just started up, this Historical Society, or has this been in effect for some number of...
Well, our society goes back over almost 25 years now, and we had hoped that we would have started earlier, because we've lost a lot of artifacts in the years that preceded our 25 years. And people just throwing it away and not really thinking much about saving it.
Do you find that there's a surgent of energy, if that's a correct way to say it, that families are wanting to hold on to something of value, some kind of...
Yeah, there is. You have so many people doing their own genealogies now, and this is a big thing, you know. And in the process, they begin seeing where they came from, and along with it comes all this memorabilia and historical background, which is really interesting.
Could you tell me what we're looking at now as we walk through the door here into the case?
Well, as you enter the main entrance downstairs, you walk into our, what we call the living room, and in it we have a lot of displays from our own businesses that have existed here at one time. A lot of them no longer exist. But we have some memorabilia from all these businesses and industries. Yeah. And we have quite a display of mining artifacts.
I see that, like the candle.
Minerals, yes. That's right.
In the mines.
And a lot of old telephones and high-button shoes. And we have all kinds of things that help kids to remember what it was like.
And with the postal system, how it worked back then.
Yes, we have a nice...
the hand...
and, of course, that isn't complete because we don't have the whole post office there. We just don't have room for the whole thing, see. But we have the rest of it stored away.
I noticed you have a musical room, too.
Right. We have a lot of instruments that have been used way back into the 20s and before.
Quilts. Quilts tell so many stories. I know Barry and I, through the years, have done stories on ladies from all over the state, and we always come up with somebody that has a quilt that tells some of the rich history to the area and what it stands for.
One person who has done a lot is Little Comsty. She has since passed away, but she did this for our school centennial. It has the names of all the schools that ever exist in this community.
Is that right?
And she's got the school song and the school mascot. And behind here, she has another quilt which has hundreds of businesses that existed here or still exist in the community.
Great, great. Is there anything at this time, Gene, that you would like to say or you'd like to pass on to perhaps the rest of the viewing audience out there that are maybe thinking about doing something like this but haven't really got into gear yet?
Well, I think they better start soon because much of your memorabilia is lost. People just toss it away, not really realizing what value it has. And don't wait. We waited too long. See, 25 years ago, we should have been in business 50 years ago.
Well, on that note, Gene, I'd like to say thanks for having us up here to beautiful Wakefield, Michigan, and the beautiful Upper Peninsula. Barry and I are certainly having a great time, and we wish you and the Historical Society of Wakefield all the best in the world.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being part of Michigan Magazine.
Our visit to historic Wakefield, Michigan continues on a future edition of Michigan Magazine as we meet more of the town's folks that are actively involved in preserving the town's heritage through their historical society. We'll meet Faye and Bertha, two antique loom rug weavers who are preserving this art for future generations. We'll meet genealogist and antique bottle collector Bruce Cox. We'll also talk with Wakefield artist Lillian Alquist Seifert, who paints historic scenes of Wakefield area as she recalls them in her mind's eye. All this and more as we continue our journey through the westernmost part of Michigan's beautiful Upper Peninsula.
There's a bit of a jewel in the Upper Peninsula, Wakefield, Michigan, and the Upper Peninsula's western side. Oh, a lot of heritage there.
There is indeed, Barry. Wakefield, Michigan once was very rich in the iron ore industry, and now is more into the tourism is what they're into now. And the hospitality there is great, so they should do very well. We'd like to thank Gene Maki there, the president of the Historical Society there, and also Mr. Randall at the bakery there, and all the townsfolk who come out to welcome Barry and I up there for the great week that we had there. And you know, Barry, while we're thanking people, we've got to give Richard and Kay Swanson a big thank you at the Regal Inn Motel there at Wakefield for putting us up for those 3 or 4 days.
Wonderful time. They had a theme in each room there. As a matter of fact, we'll be visiting one of the rooms there with Larry Peterson, which is an area historian, in one of the rooms there, the Lottie room, and we'll be talking to him about the history there. But I'd like to also thank everybody at the Paulding area and those mysterious Paulding lights. Carl and Carol, thanks for showing us and informing us about those mysterious lights that continue to happen in the Paulding area.
Okay. Folks, in our new magazine, the new quarterly, you'll find on the cover Judy Howelser. She is of German and Scandinavian descent, and inside she has some great recipes on apple squeezing.
Apple skeeving. Delicious. I can't forget a good taste.
I cannot pronounce it, but it's very good. And inside you'll also find a story by Michael B. Klassen. He is a gentleman who writes for us up there in the Marquette area in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And this one is about Owl and Aid. It's about 2 young lads who have taken an owl that they found dead and had it a project as Eric and Alan Pavola up there. That was their project for school.
And of course, we cannot forget Jackie Truitt, one of our regulars in the Michigan Magazine. She has the Quilter's Corner, and we learn about fall colors showing up in quilts. Fall right around the corner again, Del.
Oh, yes.
And Jackie's right there.
And don't forget, folks, you find our theme song, Soar Like an Eagle, at the back of the magazine, along with a TV listing of where we're at throughout Michigan on the public television stations. And don't forget, August the 29th, Barry and I will be there in Clio, Michigan, at the Clio Amphitheater for the Michigan Country Music Hall of Fame inductee. Well, again, that's just about it for this edition of Michigan Magazine. I'm Del Vaughn. Have a nice day and a nice week.
And I'm Barry Stutzman. We'll see you here on the next edition of Michigan Magazine.
Michigan Magazine is made possible in part by a grant from Oldsmobile. Oldsmobile and the Olds dealers throughout the state invite you to explore the beauty of Michigan.